Good morning everyone, and welcome back to Craft Eccentricity, and I hope you had a fabulous weekend. Right, so I finished last week with a personal haul, and I said I would come up. I'm going to do a project with them. We're going to do the pinwheel. Yes, now I know what it's called. I was calling it a swirly twirly and all sorts of things. I don't know what was going on with my brain on Friday, but anyway, I have cut that one, so I've still got little pieces in there, and I've actually used that in a project. I've cut the reinforcers, and we're going to be using those for something other than reinforcers. I've cut this one, and I did it several times, and I cut this one because people wanted to know if it cut, and I cut this one and I cut that one several times. So that's what I've used. I've still got 4 sets of dies to use from that haul, which is this one, this one, this one, and this one, and I'll be up tomorrow with those and going to try and do a Halloween card and maybe something else. Right, so this set of dies, I made a couple of finished bookmarks. So there's my first one. I'll go at an angle so that you can see it all. I've used some Panelisa ephemera, and also May the Sunshine is Panelisa, and also that little mushroom. This little fairy is one of my favourite stamps from AliExpress, and I hope you can see it because I made her wings all shiny. And then I just tracked around it with my black fine liner, which is that one. That's from eBay. Cheapest way to buy it is on eBay. And this is also Panelisa's twine that I've put up there. But it's such a gorgeous, gorgeous die. I did do all the measurements on Friday, and that is perfect bookmark size, whether you're going to put it in a little pocket in a planner or if you're going to stick it into a book. Now, this one is where I've used, if I scoot them about, this lace die, and I just trimmed it off to fit within that bookmark. But if we can get in close, it cuts out absolutely beautifully. Now, the edges do have a point on them, but I trimmed them off because I still wanted to see a little bit of that cardstock. Now, that background cardstock is from Snap Click Supply, and this background cardstock is from American Crafts, and it's the Maggie Holmes Garden Party pack, that sort of like journal looking paper. So I did that, and then with the doily, which is hiding under here, we're going to use this again in a minute. I just coloured it in and just trimmed it into pieces to fit into that one as well. But I just think they're absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous size, beautiful dies, and everything that's on the table, it did cut. So that's if I scoop the bits out that I've used already. So I've used the lace border. As you can see it's got that pointy drop, but I trimmed it off here so that it was flat. I basically got rid of this bit here. So we've used that. We've used that one, and we used that one, which we're also going to be using again in a second, to achieve those. So that's the first thing that I got up to. And then the next thing, chicken wire, and that I've just done that in plain white so that you can see it and how pretty it is. So you can see all those little rough edges. I'll put my hand under it. See how close we can get. That might be it. I think that's it. Got him really, really close last time, so yeah. Sometimes I have to check the auto thing on my doodah, my camera. I think everybody knows what my doodah is now, but it just cuts out wonderfully. Really easy to colour. I might colour that in a second actually, but I did that, and I also did this one. So I'm just going to grab some ink actually and just quickly colour these in for you, just to show you how quick it is. And of course that's that die. And I also cut the reinforcers, which are going to be used for something other than reinforcers in a second. And these are the inner bits that came out of the frame section of that tag die, but I'm not going to throw them away because they're useful. But look at that. It was just brilliant to be able to cut out so many. I think it's 18 on that die. So we're going to use those in a second. And these are a couple of unfinished ones just to show you. Maggie Holmes, and these two here are Snap Click Supply. So if you go to American Crafts, you can download the Maggie Holmes paper packs and just print them off and do whatever you want with them. So those partially finished ones, and I'm just going to move those out of the way. Now somewhere around here we go, my little basket of scruffy brushes that never get cleaned, and my little scruffy project map. So first of all, I'm just going to move some stuff out of the way so that I've got some space to do stuff. And I'm just going to try and roll that out in there, and hopefully you'll be able to see it, because it's really quick when you use these kind of brushes. Now I haven't got any ink loaded up on these, they're just, you know, how I've chucked them in. So I think I'm going to go with a little bit of red, and I'm going to pick up a yellow one and see how much is left on that. So we should end up with a sort of, you know, peachy corally, I think, I hope. So I'm going to go in the centres, just swizzle it around super quick, and then I'm going to do my yellowy bits. So I'm going to get yellowy, orangey, corally, and whatever. It's quite sunshiny in colour actually, that is. Did you see how quick that was? Really quick. And now you've got sort of like tonal lace that you could do anything with. So done that one, and now I need to sort of like get naturals and greys, I think. And I don't think that I've got a grey brush in here. So what I tend to do is use up everything that's on a brush and then go and stick it in something else. So I'm just going to pause while I go and get my grey and my brown. Right, so I'm going to go weathered wood and walnut stain, both of them oxides. And I'm really hoping this one hasn't leaked. I get ever such a lot of problems. Can you see all that? All of that ink that just, look at that. It's an absolute mess. I'm constantly having to clean them, and I just do not understand why. I'm just going to go around the edge there and take off some of that and pop it on there, and then go in with my brush. But you see, it's all over my hands. I'm just wiping them off on a bit of kitchen paper. Right, this one. So our chicken wire would tend to be silvery grey. You can of course use foil cardstock to do this if you want to, but I just want to show you just how quick this is. Don't worry if you go over the edges, because we're going to solve that when we go in with the walnut stain, which is going to be the wood. I just absolutely love these brushes. Love them. There we go. Now we've got some grey chicken wire. I'm going to pick that up carefully and put the lid back on. Yuck. Right. Okay. And then with the yellow brush, see, I just don't care what I put my brushes into. I'm going to work off a little bit of the yellow if it's on there, and it isn't, so I'm okay. I'm good to go in my walnut stain. And now, obviously, we want to be a little bit more tidy, because we don't want to get any brown onto our silver, or shall I say our grey, our weathered wood. So I'm just going along there. Just keep going round and round. And you can see if you sweep your brush, it's you know, a nice fadey effect that you can achieve. I don't know if this is showing on camera. If I'm scooting off camera, I'll move back for a second. Ooh, that's a nice rich blob. Sweep that along. I'm being quiet for a change. And then I want to go along with that one, swizzle that in. And you can, of course, as well, if you want more uniform colour, you can go in with a water brush after you've done this and get up to all kinds of things. That is not me perfectly inking by any means, but you know, distressed wood and a little bit of grey chicken wire, and you could put some really, really cute critters on that. Or as I said last week, get your flowers out and your ivy, and it's sufficiently wide enough back here to be able to put your foam pads on, so that that will be dimensionally off your card, and then you can just wrap your ivy or your little vines or what have you, and then you can go in with cute chickens, or you can be a little bit more serious and you know, have a nice little flower arrangement going on. But it just looks really farmhouse and nice. And also, if you're into Snap Click Supply, they do some awesome farmhouse type papers. So there is the chicken wire, and we've just inked that one. So that was really quick. Now, next, I'm just going to pause while I clean my mat, because we're going to be using white cardstock next. Right, I think I'm sufficiently clean down there, and I've got two of these, which are that absolutely glorious doily die. Just look at the fabulous detail in that. And I want to leave these white, and you can see you can cross these over if you want to and make a really pretty flower. But I'm going to, obviously, I think I might do that because it's going to be spinning anyway. But I want to turn this into a pinwheel, not a swirly thing, but a pinwheel. And these are delicate, and I know if I grab my hole punch, you can see the size of the hole that I've got on that one. If I were to try and attempt to do that, I wouldn't be very successful. And it's really delicate here, which means I'm going to have to go through a poke tool. Now, obviously, in order to do that, I'm going to need some reinforcement. So I thought, why not use my page reinforcers? So if I glue a couple of these together and pop them on there, I don't think it, you know, detracts from it any, if you know what I mean. But it will give it some support to that delicate doily while I'm able to poke a hole through there. And then I'm going to take 4 or 5 of these and glue them together. And then it's going to create a washer that's going to swing loose between the two. But because I need to put it together using a brad, you've got to understand the depth of your brad to the quantity of material you're using. This one is a pink flower, and this is from a set of brads that Julie, a friend in my group, sent to me. So if I was to put that on there, I can see that there is absolutely sufficient room, I hope, for that to be able to spin when it's all done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to glue together, I'm pulling them apart so I can see them. I'm going to glue together 4, and I'm going to glue together 2, and I'll be right back. Okay, all glued, and this is my bundle of 4, so you can see what 4 looks like. It's quite nice and chunky, and it's made a really nice washer. So I've got that, and then I've got my 2 here, which are going to be the reinforcer for here. And actually thinking about it, I'm going to need another set of two to reinforce on there. So I need to glue another two together. So that was my error. So what I'm going to do with these two is glue them onto the back of one and the other one front facing, so that it will look, you know, nice-ish from both sides. Right, so I'm going to flip this doily over and pop that one onto the back, and that's going to be the back of my pinwheel. So I'm going to have a front and a back, and I'm just going to pop some glue onto here and stick this one on. Try and get it in the center. I think that's in the middle. I'm just going to pick it up towards me just to make sure. Yeah, that's pretty much in the center. And then this one can go onto the back. So that we're going to be nice and decorative front and back. It's going to give it a nice bit of support. Now you imagine with the cost of flowers and things for weddings, if you got a few of these done really pretty and standing up amongst the flowers, I think that's in the middle, you wouldn't have to use as many flowers, would you? And push that down here because I've just made a gooey mess here. Got my little scruffy thing. Let's get that bit of glue off. Right, so there's that one. And as you can see, that's on the back. And that one is going to go onto the front like that. So it's getting pretty substantial already. Right, I'm going to give those a minute to dry and I'll be back. I think those are dry sufficiently, and I went and fetched myself a straw. And don't forget, if you've got straws and you don't like the colour of them, just get your washi tape out and just wrap it, you know, down your straw, and you can change it to whatever colour or pattern that you like. Right, I cannot find my correct poke mat, but I did manage to find a piece of foam. Now, this may work and it may not, but, you know, it's always important to have your disasters on camera. And what I want to do is line them up. Right, that's a little bit off. So we're going to go straight down through there, I hope. And I'm using my regular poke tool that I usually use for poking out my dies. Now, I really hope that that is in the center. And let's have a look what we've got. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Because what it did was it actually pushed the lace section out when I pressed on it. Ooh, that is interesting. I wonder if that's because I didn't let it dry long enough. And actually, not having it might even be beneficial. I'm just going to grab my scissors. So let's cut that off and see what we've got. Yeah, that might actually be beneficial. So that's the back and that's the front. It's gone clean through. So I could have just used a big hole punch and saved myself a load of time. But anyway, right, we're going to get the straw and we're just going to crush the edge of it. And then you need to know where it's going to be on your pinwheel. You don't want it to be poking out of the top. So if you kind of like position that and then poke your hole, that should have gone all the way through, and then you can just extend it a little bit so that you've got some room to maneuver. Right, now we're going to need the front piece, which is this one, and as you can see, the flower does hide that hole. And then I'm going to need my my washer. And it could also be, you know, that I probably would have needed another washer as well, but we're going to find out in a second. And then I'm going to go through there. And then that's the back of it. So I'm going to go through there. Now, I've got to hold this towards me because I've got to open up those two little metal bits, which are those bits that you get on a brad. Now, I don't know if that's going to work with the middle bit missing, but that's what I've got so far. Does it turn? Yeah, but it's not spinny turny, if you know what I mean. But I still like it. I don't think I've used the right colour straw. I think it would look prettier on a white or a pink one. But if we can get in close there, you can see I've used those reinforcers. And so if you do attempt this at home, you don't actually need the centre of your doily. So you can just go straight through it and remove it with your crocodile. But I thought that was quite simple. But I think that's pretty. But I do think a gold straw is not the correct choice of colour for that project. Not for me personally, anyway. But it does, you know, it does rotate. But it's just not going to spin around in the wind. But I do like that. And of course, the doily cuts out perfectly, which is the whole point, isn't it? Right. So what did we do? We did the chicken wire. We did the colouring in of this one. I did the bookmarks. We've cut out the lace. I've done the reinforcers. And that is what I've got for you today. So I am going to be up with the rest of my little personal haul tomorrow, and we'll finish using those. I thank you so much for joining me today. And as usual, all links below. Have an awesome day. Bye.